powerful champion. Ezreal has some good poke, but with Sona, they can't necessarily get engaged on. There's a lot of ability to grab people and stop them there, and then Azaraki Slayer can do exactly what she does best, which is slay Azarakis and Explorers. So I think that could really become problematic if we get some really good lockdowns from Zyra. Now, the heal plus poke of Sona Ezreal is just a nightmare to deal with, especially if this is a blue build Ezreal, which it looks like to me.
And Hecarim going ham under the turret, just trying to pick up this Lux. Lux picking up the kill, or actually picking up the first blood onto this Lux. Bad play, Hecarim. Bad play.
Yeah, a little bit too much there with the aggression. Not a horrible idea, but going a little too ham. Little too ham.
You know, especially on a Lux. You know, in the back of my mind, never, ever, ever dive a Lux unless you know her bite is freshly used.
And see, we have, like, Azaraki Slayer and Zyra can be really, really powerful, but we're just seeing...
Oh, Zyra actually in trouble. Ezreal coming in. Looks like she will wind up picking up the kill onto that Zyra, but that double kill from Ezreal onto Azaraki Slayer. Beautiful play.
And see, that's exactly what I was saying. For as good as that lane can be, there's too much poke out of Ezreal Sona. There's never going to be a fair fight in that lane. As long as they're playing well, pretty much every time Azaraki Slayer and Sona go in, they're going to be fighting at lower health because they will have been taking consistent poke from Ezreal and from Sona.
And, you know, whenever I'm playing against the Sona, my first objective, I yell at my supporters saying, we're killing Sona level 2. Because she is just so squishy, and I just hate her that much. It's like, I don't care if we die. We are killing Sona.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to always be a priority, is taking Sona down very quickly. The problem is with Ezreal. Ezreal provides so much utility and poke that if you go in on the Sona, he's usually just kind of pecking at you the whole time and putting damage down.
Absolutely. It looks like we got some actually pings coming here down on the middle. J4 looking to try and catch out this Zed, but Zed just moving back and forth, you know, just tricking out this jungle. There actually is a ward there, so he does know J4 was in the vicinity.
Yeah, and it looks like we will see the blue build Ezreal here. I'm interested to see how exactly he does the blue build, because although it's kind of becoming the standard, there's a million different ways to do it, and everyone has a different theory. It's one of my favorite ADs to play, but yeah, everyone has different thoughts on the proper way to do the build.
Okay, explain to me and the viewers who do not know what the heck blue build Ezreal is.
All right, so it's just kind of a new build that's come out on Ezreal where instead of grabbing your kind of standard AD items, Bloodthirster, all that stuff, you go for mana, so you're going to see the Tear of the Goddess here. Some people actually build the Spirit of the Lizard Elder, the jungling item. Some people just go straight into a mana meme, but the idea is you end up getting Iceborne Gauntlets on him, and you turn him into a decent amount of damage, but more importantly, a ton of kite and CC.
So it's just the kite build Ezreal. Why can't they call it the kite build Ezreal instead of blue Ezreal?
Well, because it's all, they call it the blue Ezreal because of all the mana stuff you put into it.
Oh, I thought it was because of Frostborn Gauntlets turns your hands blue.
And then you got that. You also see a tier usually as the first item. You also see cooldown reduction boots. Basically, the point of the build is to get your cooldowns very, very low so you can spam your Q and your W and be constantly CCing the enemy team.
Oh, there's a crescendo down from Sona and the Ezreal out. Zyra in a lot of trouble. Ezreal picking up the kill down on the Zyra, but, you know, man, Sona actually in a little bit of trouble from Zyra's plans, but that damage coming out from that crescendo ultimate combo from Ezreal. Really good crescendo, though. Really good crescendo.
And nothing Azaraki Slayer could do about that. It just, those two ultimates coming out in perfect timing. There was really never a chance there.
You know, she got that crescendo down, blocking them actually both fairly close, so both of them could take the damage from Ezreal. And unfortunately, Azaraki Slayer couldn't help Zyra, her partner, out that much. And
yeah, and it's the unfortunate consequence of the lane. It's one of those things when you're up against a Sona Ezreal and you're pretty much anyone except Caitlyn. The goal of the lane changes from, you know, win, take down the turret to survive, and they're even having some trouble with that. So Well, we'll have
We
to
do
see
have a
exactly what happens here, but what's amazing is they've done all of this without significant jungle ganks.
really haven't seen that much of Hecarim since his extreme failure in middle trying to dive a Lux.
Well, I mean, that'll do a lot to your confidence and really make you start to think about what you're doing. We do see the Lizard Elder there onto Ezreal. So far, this is the exact same way I
And we
build
do see an Hecarim coming
Ezreal.
in. Azaraki Slayer could be in trouble, but J4 is there as well with the Cataclysm down, locking Ezreal and Hecarim in. Really good save coming in from J4. Oh, but Lux now into the fray, and Hecarim actually in trouble, getting picked up by Vayne, forcing Ezreal and Sona to just kind of back off.
Yeah, Hecarim wanted to keep fighting there. That was not what Ezreal and Sona wanted to do, and so you kind of just ended up with a Hecarim running around in the brush, probably yelling in whatever team chat they're using, trying to convince them to go in, and they did not. They were just like, "Sorry, horseman, you are dying again."
Unfortunately, TP on Lux, OP.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely worked out well for him there, but I think they're going to have some problems here. Zed's going to be able to come into this fight. They're probably going to either put a lot of damage on the tower or pick up a kill or two here.
Yeah, but what purple team or red team doesn't see is that Lux is still here, actually getting found out. But we do have Sona getting picked up by Zyra, and Zyra picking up Sona, leaving it still a 2-for-2 in bottom lane. But that support for support, man, that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm interested in why Zed never really got involved there.
Well, not
Um,
just that, but how not even how, but why? Did the support kill the support? You know what I mean? The support picking up the support, and then the support picking up the support.
yeah, I mean, the thing is, this early in the game, I mean, you obviously want kills onto your AD carry, but kills onto a support are not a huge deal. It helps him itemize a little bit, grab
Oh,
lots of
Zed
pink
actually in
wards.
trouble putting his ultimate actually down onto Lux, but actually using it to run away instead of the engage.
I have to be careful there. Lux was going to be able to put a mark on him almost immediately, do some decent auto attack damage, and he didn't know that Jarvan was not around for the assist. Um, so that's probably what the main worry was, is that Lux wasn't alone.
Oh, we do have a Hecarim ult coming down, but the flash coming in from Lux, forcing Hecarim's ultimate.
Yeah, it's still usually a good trade and ultimate for a flash, but that could have been a kill there if it had landed.
Absolutely. Well, Zed's ultimate was down. Zed couldn't have, pulled out the burst that probably would have easily secured the kill onto Lux. I don't think that would have been a really good fight for Lux, granted, but I don't think it would have been killed. But we do have the gank coming in from J4. I think it's just J4 showing his presence, trying to force this Ezreal Sona to kind of back off and stop being so aggressive.
Yeah, and the thing is, if Jarvan has to babysit that lane, it means he's not able to put appropriate pressure onto Cho'Gath, which they really don't want Cho'Gath getting a good amount of farm. Going to be a bigger end game factor than Kennen will. So it's always a trade off. Like, if you're going to shut down that Sona Ezreal lane, what are you giving up for it?
Absolutely, and from early on in the game, I couldn't see if there was any ganks top, but so far it's been an island top, which is rarely seen. Oh, indigestion timeout.
Yeah, I mean, we do see a lot more at top lane, some kind of aggression or something, an attempt to make things happen through that lane. But both teams here
Oh,
have
and
very
Dragon
aggressive
Slayer
bot
has a
lane.
Raki. The crescendo is down, actually having to cleanse to get out of it. Zyra looks like she could be in trouble. The ultimate is down on the Ezreal. Ezreal doing everything she can, but Zyra is now binded, and
Oh.
Sona picking up the kill onto Zyra, trying to get her passive to maybe pick up the kill on the Ezreal, but misses.
And see, this is that Edward carry from the support Sona.
I mean, Dragon Slayer Vayne was in a lot of trouble. Had to use that cleanse to get out from the crescendo just to get away. Still wound up taking that ultimate damage, but had that ability to get away from the crescendo. Zyra, not so lucky. Zyra did throw her ultimate down, catching that Ezreal, but with, they just got caught. They're being way too aggressive, push up way too far against this Sona Ezreal comp.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because that bot lane Like that's normally a pretty good combination, but they take so much damage so quickly that forcing the cleanse, and even then Zyra pretty much having to sacrifice herself just to
Well,
get
it wasn't
Vayne
really
out.
even a sacrificial lamb type thing. She was exhausted. She wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah, and we'll have to see if they can turn anything on here because I mean that is the one thing about having Vayne as your AD carry. Like Vayne can land a good condemn and turn an entire lane around almost instantly. It's going to be rough because the CC is only going to get worse coming out of Ezreal Sona. But it's always possible, especially as we transition into more team fighting, where Ezreal's going to have other targets than just focusing Vayne straight away. Because that is part of the blue build Ezreal is you need to start focusing uh, other targets in team fights because your CC becomes important.
Yeah, and it looks like we see Hakram over here in bottom lane, possibly setting up for a gank. For a lane that's already behind and really starting not to be worth much. Hakram really should be paying a little bit more attention to top, but with that ward there actually catching out Hakram, this Kennen and Cho'Gath just trading back and forth, damage for damage. Unfortunately, Cho'Gath has a better time in lane due to the fact of his passive and his ability to heal off of killing minions.
Yep, I mean that's going to give him a little bit of an advantage here, and you can see it in the farm that he's been able to do a little better in trades, but it's not a huge advantage. Kennen is still doing absolutely fine in lane. The double Doran's going to make it really, really easy for Kennen to last hit and to put out some decent harass. Enough lifesteal to be just fine here. I don't think there's any major concern about how top lane is going for either team.
And red team actually in a really good position to pick up this dragon. Lux throwing some vision down on the dragon, but no Hecarim picking up, and Jarvan actually in a lot of trouble. Oh, the Lux damage coming out. Lux picking up the kill on the Hecarim, but J4 going down to the Zed.
And I actually
One for
missed
one
who
trade.
got the. I
They
missed
got
who
the
ended up
dragon.
getting the dragon.
Red did get the dragon. J4 got it.
Okay, well that
Was in favor of red team. Or actually, J4 is on the blue team.
Right. So did J4 get it or did red team get it?
I'm 80% sure J4 actually wound up getting the smite on the dragon. It wasn't?
No. Look at the chat log. Look at the chat log.
My chat log's broken. My spectator's broken right now.
Hecarim's slaying the dragon. Get your shit together, guys.
Hey, you know what? Zed's taking a lot of damage from Lux. But yes, it was Hecarim that picked up the kill on Dragon, so it was in red team's favor.
Yeah, and you can see that in their gold difference. I mean, red team is just a little bit ahead in every aspect here. But it's not significant. It's nothing that can't be turned around once we get to team fighting. We still haven't seen a turret drop. We still have to see how Cho'Gath and Kennen perform in team fights.
And it looks like we have both jugglers at top here. Kennen ultimate is down. Cho'Gath looks to be in a lot of trouble, but Hecarim is there running into the Kennen ultimate. Cho'Gath staying too long, but A4 picking up the kill onto Hecarim, or not on the Hecarim, but onto Cho'Gath, and Hecarim running away, picking up the kill onto that poor Kennen.
Yeah, that was almost the perfect escape by Kennen, and I thought they were going to be able to pick up Hecarim too. It was just unfortunate that Lux missed the binding, and Hecarim is too fast to be chased after that. Oh, very
Absolutely.
good crescendo.
We do have Zed, the ultimate down, coming down onto J4. J4 trying to get out, but that ultimate too strong. Zed picking up the kill onto J4. And meanwhile, bottom lane, this Ezreal Sona combo picking up a double kill. Man, this red team's action, they are just really starting to push really hard with that bottom lane, just not in the bottom lane, but in the enemy jungle as well. You know, we did kind of see Cho'Gath mess up and get, picked up fairly easy. And along with Hecarim running into the Kennen ult, taking that unnecessary damage. Maybe he was trying to knock Kennen away from Cho'Gath with that ultimate, but, all in all, that engagement throughout the entirety of that, 3 minutes that had happened was in the red team's favor.
Well, yeah, I mean, they took kills in every lane. They had an even trade in top, but mid and bottom were well in their favor. But again, that's how this is going to go. Sona, Ezreal are pretty much expected to win this laning phase. We still have to see how it transitions to team fighting, and really how far this is able to go before we stop the laning phase. I mean, an 18-minute laning phase, now 19-minute, is pretty long, and I feel like red team wins almost every lane. So I don't know what what needs to happen here for blue team, but they need to transition into a different type of fighting because I think they're only going to continue to fall further and further behind the way things are going right now.
You know, I'm looking at the item buys, and I don't think I agree with Cho'Gath's first item buy. If you have a look at it there.
And that is pretty interesting. Leandry's is going to be all about putting more burn damage onto Kennen. Basically making the silence just kind of continue to take even more damage because double Dorans on Kennen, along with a Seeker's Arm Guard, makes Kennen decently tanky and have pretty good sustain.
I mean, I still would have liked to have seen something a little bit more tanky with a little bit more sustain for levels like the Rod of Ages. You know, that's in my mind when I play Cho'Gath, Rod of Ages first item, ready, go.
Well, I mean, the thing is, Cho'Gath is already looking very tanky. I probably just didn't feel like he needed it. Doing just fine in lane, sitting at over 2,000 health. So it's something we'll probably see just because the rest of the team isn't super tanky, but it's not something that was needed right now. Whereas, basically, the Leanders gives him a huge burst in damage.
No, she might get away, but Kennen might be in trouble. Kennen ulting to get away, leaving Hecarim and Cho'Gath to go ham on this turret, possibly. With red team pushing middle, forcing, 4 members of blue team to stay middle, while it looks like possibly top is going to go down for that.
Yeah, and see, that's just kind of the difference we're going to see here. We now have all of the outer turrets going out. Laning phase is pretty definitely over now, but a rough way for it to end for blue team. Yeah, I don't know if there's anywhere they can make trades anymore. Like Hecarim and Cho'Gath are going to continue to push top. Kennen will get there with Jarvan, but there's still going to be a lot of damage that goes down onto that turret before they do.
All right, in team fights, right now, we're past the laning phase. Turrets are down. We start to get into that team fight phase. Who do you think has the team fights right now?
Well, right now, I mean, we're looking at almost a 10k gold lead. I mean, red team is going to have the advantage. That's just... even if there was a better team fighting team, it wouldn't matter because the item difference at this point. I think that can be changed slowly over time, but I don't know if it will be because of how far Ezreal's gotten into his build.
Oh, and it looks like Kennen could be in trouble. The non-man Ignite is down onto Kennen. Kennen doing everything he can to escape, and it looks like he just might barely make it out alive. But no, there's Hecarim there as well. J4 doing everything he can to interrupt this Hecarim, not allowing the kill to be picked up. But J4 dealing quite a bit of damage to this Hecarim, while meanwhile Dragon Slayer Azaraki picks the kill down on the Azaraki, while Sona picks up the kill onto Vayne, while Lux gets that Sona, and Cho'Gath picking up the kill onto J4. And Zed getting the shutdown onto Lux.
Yeah, and that was a really good fight by Vayne in bottom lane. It was just unfortunate that really the last auto attack that would have killed Sona didn't quite get off in time. But decently even trades for the teams.
We had top, Kennen almost going down, Hecarim there trying to get that kill. J4 showing up, interrupting Hecarim's charge to pick up that easy kill on the Kennen. Kennen only had about 75 health. But J4 threw his life away to save Kennen. I don't know, as soon as he popped that, Hecarim charge, he should just turn off and back off, knowing that, yes, there was still a Cho'Gath that had a lot of health coming at me. I'm not really understanding the blue team's mindset right now when it comes, not even in team fighting, but just picking their fights in general.
Well, I think a problem they're having is that, they lost every lane pretty solidly, which is unfortunate. And it's kind of one of those times where you just have to kind of put your team back together and you have to move on. They're down 10k gold. This is not the situation they were hoping for. But, I mean, what else can you do? Got to keep playing, got to keep moving on, and see what you can pull together in team fights. They have a decent team fighting team, and we haven't seen a 5v5 engage yet. But they're continuing to fall behind. They really just need to pull the team back together and get something going here.
When I sit here and I look at the actual team comps, I'm looking and I see, man, the blue team's engaged. Lux binds, Kennen ultimate, Zyra ultimate. And actually J4 getting caught out but flashing away, And it looks like Sona might be in trouble, but no, Dragon Slayer Vayne coming in, and we do see a premature cannon. All his flash isn't up, and nothing will come of it. And Ezreal just slowly, actually, just trying to get away. Dragon Slayer Vayne just trying to go in, maybe a little too ham, having to turn back. But here comes Zed to deal some extra damage, forcing people off of this low health Ezreal.
Yeah, good ideas there. Fortunately,
Oh, Siren
Vayne
getting
gets
caught out. We
died.
do have the Luxol picking up the kill down onto Ezreal, and we do see Hecarim ulting in. Zed picking up the kill on the Zyra, and it looks like Red Team actually having to turn and they actually being forced back.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, the Kennen ult there, but it was a really good job by Vayne to get out of that fight. I mean, they'll take that trade Zyra for Ezreal all day long.
Oh, the ultimate down from Zed onto Kennen, picking up that kill, that burst from Zed, just saying, hey, you're sticking around low health when a Zed's in the vicinity. Bad choice.
Yeah, probably shouldn't have been there. And just, it's one of those things where you want to try to defend the tower. You're hoping to be able to have a way to push back out there. And they just jumped onto Kennen with a ton of damage very quickly. Not a whole lot Kennen could have done there. Probably not the best place to have been at that point.
No, and at that point in time, you know, you had J4 with half health. You had Zyra there with half, well, actually, not Zyra, but Lux there with, or no, it wasn't Lux. Who else was there standing there? It was Vayne and J4 there. Low health, no business being there. But Hecarim trying to steal their red, getting caught out. There's Ezreal, and Vayne actually in a lot of trouble. Her ultimate is down. Hecarim doing everything he can. Blade of the Rune King is down on the Hecarim. Hecarim looks like he could be in a lot of trouble, and yes, Vayne does pick up this kill onto Hecarim.
That was actually very, very good of Vayne. Now, the problem with recalling an award is Ezreal might be able to get there in time to get the kill. No, it doesn't look like it. Very, very close. That was actually very, very good Vayne play. And all in all, I mean, this is a rough lane for Vayne, but we've seen consistent mechanics and very, very good play. Just unfortunate that the game has not really gone in the team's favor.
You know, 9-16, you know, easily almost an 11K deficit. What do you think Blue Team has to do right now to turn this game back into their favor?
They have to have a fight where Kennen's able to get into the back line and put damage onto Ezreal. If Ezreal is kept out of a fight from the beginning, I think they have a good chance. The problem is, while that's going on, they're also going to have Zed and Hecarim going straight after Vayne.
And it looks like Zed just easily forcing this Vayne back. And we do have the
Zed's
Ezreal
shown the
ultimate coming
damage.
down. J4 going down. This turret actually in quite a bit of trouble, but we do see Cho'Gath chasing this Lux and Zyra away. Don't know what they're doing. Probably getting a ward down on a Baron.
They killed Sona while Sona was warding. It wasn't the greatest play from Sona. The biggest thing I saw there was that Sona actually used the ultimate, which was pretty unnecessary. She was dying either way, and the rest of the team wasn't close enough to close in on that.
Wow, just looking over the items right now. Kennen finally picking up that Zhonya's, and Cho'Gath not really going that tank route. From the items, you know, realize people to say, hey, it's a health item, that equals tank. You know, having to look at his resistances, he's not really that tanky. He's not taking that tank role, you know, that most people would like to see at this point in time.
I think it's partially because he just doesn't need it. Again, he has plenty of health. Even without the resistances, I don't see him getting burst down in a fight. There's other priorities. They're going to try to fight around him anyway, so I don't see a huge problem with it. I mean, he's still incredibly hard to kill without any tank items. So I think he's going to do his job just fine. Leandres is going to just be a royal pain for the enemy team during fights because I believe that procs off of his E as well as his silence and his Q. So that means he's going to be able to put that out onto pretty much anyone that gets close to him.
And looks like Red Team here probably going to be setting up for this Dragon that's going to be respawning soon. Blue Team not really in the position to even attempt to try and take it or even to force a fight.
Yep, and looks like waiting on Dragon here. I don't think we're going to see a fight from Blue Team.
Dragon.
Yeah, they're not even going to go in and attempt it. That is going down way too fast. We're now up to almost a 12K gold lead.
12K gold lead with, you know, 4 towers, 4 objectives.
See, it's easy to do it. The only difference is I did it in front of 5,000 people and you did it in like 100. God damn it.
Well, and also, we'll let Grizz forget this in 20 minutes. We're never going to let you forget
Yeah,
that.
no, that's not
Exactly.
every time.
But going back to casting before we were so rudely interrupted, four objectives for red team and blue team still hasn't even gotten their first objective, not even a dragon. You know, this blue team's in a very tight spot, very bad position. Red team, they have the objectives, they have the gold, they have the items. You know, I would really like to see red team just saying, hey guys, we have the items, we have, you know, we have the gold, we have the objectives. Let's start to push middle, you know, let's get this game rolling. Let's take a couple members down and start a Baron. You know, I don't know what your opinion on that is, but that's my feeling of what red team really should start to be doing.
Well, just starting to put more pressure on with their advantage, because I mean, there's no denying they're pretty solidly ahead at this point. But they haven't taken a huge advantage from it. You know, they haven't really pushed in. They've taken the fights where they can get them. They've actually had a few people caught out in the last few minutes here that have brought blue team back into it a little bit. They've, you know, had the dragons and other stuff to make up for it, but they've had Sona caught a few times. Really, if they group and push, I don't see what blue team can do to stop it. They have great initiate, but not great defend. So I think they could pretty much end this game.
I mean, you know, gold for supports. Sona actually having 5 kills.
Yeah, I mean, no, Sona's been worth money. That's the only reason it's been a decent trade.
That's why killing Sona is viable right now. But she's at 8.8k gold, where Zyra's barely at a 5.8. You know, just the items are actually going to who they should be going to be. Zed and Ezreal. You know, cough cough Sona, scumbag Sona taking the kills, carry cough cough.
You can't hate on the carry Sona build.
we do see that Morello Nomicon coming out from Sona early.
Well, that's actually an interesting spot to bait Baron. I don't think it's going to be a problem. I don't think blue team even they probably suspect it now because of that ward. They pretty much know what's going on, but they're also going to walk straight through a ward to go in there. So we're going to see a fight here. Baron went down really fast. This could be bad for blue team.
Do you have Hecarim? There is Hecarim ultimate with the crescendo coming down. A lot of damage. Zed is now onto the back line. Ezreal picking up the kill onto J4. Zed continuing down onto the Lux, picking up the kill onto Lux. Cannon is down. Zyra's just trying to run away along with Vayne. Man, blue team's in a lot of trouble. That's all I have to say. You look at the health from red team, they took nil damage. Damage.
The only significant damage
is Zed jumping down onto Zyra, forcing that flash out of there. You know, that just that entire team fight. Well done. You had the Hecarim ultimate and that crescendo coming in from Sona. Well placed. And Vayne actually in a lot of trouble. We do see Zed coming in, and we do have the Zyra ultimate coming out, but not in time to save Vayne. And Ezreal continuing down onto Zyra saying, hey, look, you can do all you want to me. I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, and see, that was really unfortunate. I mean, we saw basically at the beginning of that blue team get caught in almost the worst place on the map to fight in. You know, the Ezreal ultimate was able to go through the entire team. It did set up Lux nicely, but it didn't matter at that point. And I think that'll pretty much seal the game right there. It's now a 20k gold lead. We have the second inhibitor going down.
You know,
Red team probably back off the bye now, but I don't see a way out of this for blue team.
I don't either. I don't think that they could force a fight to their advantage at this point. You know, really good job, red team, getting that Baron and then turning exactly right when blue team was going through that corridor to where Hecarim's ultimate hit about 4 people and Sona's crescendo hit 3, allowing Zed to get back into their backline, jump onto Vayne, forcing Vayne to flash out and ult out, and leaving Zed to pick up that kill onto Lux. You know, that was well done, well played. You know, I'm sitting here trying to think, do you think there was a way blue team could have played that a little bit better?
I mean, for that entire fight, the only thing they could have done differently was approach Baron from the other side.
Zed jumping down on the Lux. The ultimate is down. Lux is in a lot of trouble, taking a lot of damage. The ultimate did come down from Lux, but no, it is not enough. Zed picking up that kill onto Lux.
And that gives them a really good opportunity to push here. I don't know if they'll take advantage of it or not, but that could be a game ender there. There's no way, even under Nexus turrets, that they're going to be able to win a 4v5 with all the health we have and all the damage coming out from red team. Cho'Gath is huge. He finally got that defensive item he wanted. He has a Randuin's Omen and a Rylai's.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's literally huge.
Yeah, he is both literally and figuratively huge. Yeah, they're going to tear down this tower here. I mean, there's blue team's going to fight just because they have to at this point. You can't continue to give stuff up, but I don't know.
You
if
know,
there's a
we
whole
do
lot
see
they can
Jarvan
actually
engage.
do.
There's a Catechism blocking Sona, and Ezreal down, but J4 taking a punishment, getting that, you know, kill wow, that team engagement there. Blue team tried everything that they could, and red team just wrecked them. Would still, once again, you look at the damage that they took, practically nil. And we do see GG's coming out. Lux is trying to, you know, hey, I'm Lux, I'm going to try and snipe you. But looks like, yeah, Sona picks up the kill on Deluxe. And at 35 minutes into the game, red team picking up that win with 27 kills to 10 with a almost, actually, yes, above about a 22k gold lead.
Yeah, I mean, that was just an impressive game. And the thing is, it kind of, in the beginning at least, it blue team lost it slowly. Like, there wasn't a big turning point. I mean, that Baron fight, but the game was already in trouble at that point. I wouldn't say, though, there was a definite point, hey, this is where blue team lost the game. It just kind of fell away by inches. They lost little things. They lost one or two objectives or opportunities, and it slowly got out of hand for them. I mean, they had very strong play, and they showed that they're a very talented team. They just kind of slowly lost
Deteriorate.
progressively more important objectives. I mean, there was when they pretty much within a span of 2 or 3 minutes lost everything. Like, they lost a tower in every lane and 3 kills, but even that wasn't something they couldn't recover from. Really, until that Baron, there were always opportunities. They just weren't able to make anything of them. And really, a very good job by red team or purple team, just pushing their advantage. Every time they got an advantage, they followed up on it, and they did it really slowly. Like, there were a lot of times where I thought, okay, now's when they're going to go push. Now's when they're going to go win the game. And it never happened. They actually took things much slower than I expected. And I mean, to be honest, that could have been what saved them. They didn't put themselves in a situation where they could be turned